Well, good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in slightly warm Alabama. Going to cool down here the next week, though. Is August the 20th, my sister's birthday. Washington, Lynn Austin, Lynn Hovind married Mike Austin. Maybe she's got a Facebook page. You can find it. Wish her happy birthday for me. She hasn't talked to me in probably a long time, okay? Happy birthday, Lynn. So let's see. Whacking Atheist tonight. We're going to deal with, what's his name again? Pluto Pilot. Okay. He calls in once in a while. You're welcome to call again. Anyway, we're on a bunch of different channels: Facebook, Rumble, X, our own app, Ken Hovind TV, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff. Be sure to like it, share it, and all that kind of stuff you're supposed to do. Okay, here we go. August 20th, 2025. Boot camp coming up next Friday night, and then Thursday, or Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Come on down to boot camp. If you have a creation ministry and you want to advertise or have us tell about your ministry, I wish there were thousands more creation ministries. How many teachers are there teaching evolution out there? How many museums and science centers push evolution? We're losing the war, folks. Get busy. Find something to do. You can start a museum in your basement, in your back porch, in your yard. Get a trailer, get a portable creation museum. Go to malls or shopping centers and do something, okay? Find something to do. If we can help, we want to. So if you want to schedule a visit and stay in, we'll get you a cabin. Everything's free. Join our 777 club so we can stay open for free. That's how we do it. People that love our ministry say, I help support you. Okay. drdino.com is the website. Let's see. Hurricane coming soon. If you are fleeing the hurricane, want a place to stay, come visit Dinosaur Adventureland. Titus can tell you, extension 5, if you have any cabins left open. For this weekend, I don't think it's a problem. For next weekend, but anyway, my show's an idea, Joseph. Here you go. You ready? Yeah. Been wanting time. When they close down the zip line, you try to blast them off with the fire hose or something. Cool. You know, fire departments, they get a new truck every so many years. You know, what do they do with the old one? If it's got a bad transmission, it doesn't matter. We're going to park it in one spot, and we just want the bumper to work. Okay. So if you know, if the old fire truck we can get, please tell us. Okay. Here we go. Pluto. He said, well, just let him speak for himself. Somebody else put this show together. I don't remember who it was. Let's see. There. Okay. Now come over here. Too many buttons to push. All of your argument is only to try to rescue time. You need billions of years. Okay. I'll give you billions of years. How do you turn an amoeba into a whale over trillions or quadrillions of years? You're only trying to rescue time because you know how desperately you need time. Okay. I agree there's variations within the same kind. There are different types of dogs. Do you mean that is enough to convince you that dogs are related to cabbage? Do you believe you are related to cabbage? There are 6 different levels or stages of evolution. If you don't like it, too bad.
Well, rest easy, Kent. You can rest easy tonight because none of that, what you teach about the 6 levels, is being taught in the universities. There's none of it.
None of what I'm teaching about the 6 levels of evolution is being taught at universities. Well, let me explain it to you. Let's see. Right here. Okay. There. I have said for years when you have to define exactly what you're talking about. First, I have to find my mouse. There it is. Okay. Wrong screen. There. Okay. Definition of evolution. Cosmic evolution. At the beginning of the origin of time, space, matter. That is a vital part of the theory. Okay, without that, nothing else matters, okay? None of the other steps matter. They are simply all fairy tales. This would be moving. There'd be nothing to evolve, no space to evolve in, and no energy to make it happen. This is nothing but a propaganda poster. There is no science to support this big watch this for name with a peer-reviewed, publishes in peer-reviewed journals and has a degree from an accredited university. Just as biological evolution is the heart of modern biology, cosmic evolution is the heart of modern cosmology. There is such a thing as cosmic evolution. Where did time, space, matter come from? Biological evolution requires the products of cosmic evolution. So, Pluto, you're wrong. I'm right. There are 6 parts to evolution. Evolution, ascent with change of nature's many varied systems. Cosmic evolution includes the subjects of Big Bang, I'm sorry, it's been a hot day today. Comprises a holistic explanatory narrative of countless changes within and among organized systems. Oh, okay. A consistent, objective, and comprehensive worldview of material reality. George Lemaitre, the father of the Big Bang, American Museum of Natural History. According to the Big Bang Theory, the expansion of the observable universe began with an explosion of a single particle at a definite point in time, which is stupid. Tell him I said so, okay? That's real stupid. You can believe that if you wish, but that's dumb. You couldn't fit a glass of water into a spot dot smaller than an atom. Where'd the universe come from? Time, space, matter began with the Big Bang. In a fraction of a second, the universe grew from smaller than a single atom. Now that's tiny. To bigger than a galaxy. You want to get a picture of how big an atom is, okay? If you took a grain of salt, one grain of salt, look at it under the microscope, almost always it's near perfect cube. If you expanded that grain of salt to the size of the Sears only link, the atoms in that grain of salt, sodium chloride, would grow also to become as big as the original grain of salt. How many grains of salt would it take to stack up to make as tall as the Sears Tower? That's how many atoms are in the one side of a grain of salt. So atoms are tiny. You want to squeeze the whole universe into that? That is such a stupid theory. Why on earth did you believe that? Didn't your mama teach you to watch out for idiots that are going to try to teach you something dumb? That's dumb, okay? Anyway, so cosmic evolution is essential. Then you have to have, let's see, home. You have to have chemical evolution. The chemicals would have to evolve. Say the Big Bang produced hydrogen. Okay. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but there's more than one element called hydrogen in the universe. There are 92 naturally occurring elements. Big Bang created all the matter and energy. The hydrogen and helium in the universe were created in moments after the Big Bang. Heavy elements came later. This is a story. They're not giving any evidence for this. Hydrogen and helium atoms emerged 379,000 years after the Big Bang. How on earth could they know something like that? They make up these dumb stories, and you guys believe it. Shame on you. Okay? Very beginning, at least following the Big Bang, there was hydrogen and some helium and a little bit of lithium. Well, it's a good thing we couldn't have most of our battery. A grand total of 3 elements. Today, there are nearly 100 naturally known elements with hundreds of variants. Yeah, okay. Where'd they come from? Within 3 minutes after the Big Bang, how do they know that? Conditions cooled enough for protons and neutrons to form hydrogen nuclei. Right. Another made-up story. This is called the area of nucleosynthesis. Some of these nuclei combine to form helium, though in smaller quantity, just a few percent. How do they? They're making up a story. Can't you guys see? Chemical evolution, the formation of complex. There is such a thing as chemical evolution. Chemical evolution. I'm not making it up, Pluto. There are 6 stages to the evolution religion. By the way, they want to combine hydrogen to get helium and lithium and all these elements. Well, you can't fuse past iron. So how do you get all these other elements past iron? Which stars fuse elements up to iron? The most massive stars in the universe, at least 8 times, have enough temperature and pressure they can fuse elements all the way up to iron. Well, then, where'd the elements for the star come from? You got a chicken and an egg problem. You got to have the elements to make the stars and the stars to make the elements. And even then, you only get up to iron. Even higher mass stars will burn neon after carbon is used up. However, once iron is reached, fusion is halted. Wonder why that is. Since iron is so tightly bound, no energy can be extracted by fusion. They make up the story. So I point out, and I'll do it for the rest of my life, and my videos will keep doing it after I'm dead. There are 6 meanings to the word evolution. After that, you'd have to have stellar and planetary evolution. Nobody's seen a planet or star form. How do you get these fragments from a Big Bang that are all going away from each other like spokes on a wheel? How do you get them to meet out in space someplace? The longer you wait, the further apart they get. They make up a story. They don't have any scientific evidence. It's a story. Organic evolution, the origin of life. You want to get right past that, don't you, Pluto? You want to start with living things and say that's all evolution talks about. Then you have macro evolution. Anyway, let's go back to that Pluto blab. Let's see. All right. Here. Okay.
It is being taught in the textbooks.
Where did the energy come from?
The Big Bang, I don't know. The Big Bang does not even try to address that. Now, there are science.
Is it okay if we don't know where God came from? See, you just demonstrated you have a religion. I admit, I believe by faith God created the universe. Where did he come from? Don't know. I don't think anybody can know. Where did matter and energy and time come from? You don't know. Okay, well, then you have a religion like I do. So why am I paying for yours to be taught in the schools? Why don't you pay for mine to be taught for the next 50 years? Dumb. Okay. Got our princess on the island in a golden castle, and you want to start from there. We're going to eat your cousins tomorrow for lunch. Cabbage. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
Hello, Kent.
Hi. I know you're calling in to announce you got converted.
No, not today.
Okay. You better before you die. I would highly recommend it, but go ahead.
This, measuring using parallax. Now, you've been told, you don't use parallax to measure very distant stars.
Parallax is where you have two observation points looking at a third point. It makes a triangle. Your eyes do that all the time. You have two eyes, say 4 inches apart. You can roughly tell the distance to that projector is probably about 16 feet. Okay? Because my eyes are tilted in a little bit, towed in to focus on one spot. That's called parallax trigonometry. If you look at that and then look at a spot behind it, if you hold your thumb up, close one eye, switch eyes, it looks like it moves. That's the parallax, okay? Never mind. They think they can tell the distance to stars with parallax trigonometry for millions of light years. I point out to find the parallax trigonometry to find a dot 100 light years away is like having two guys in Pensacola 16 inches apart, both looking at a dot in Chicago, and they want to tell how far away the dot is. They don't know. All they know is there's a dot up there. They see the dot. They look at their eyes, their line of sight. How far out of parallel would those telescopes be if they're 16 inches apart, and the dot's 830 miles away? You think you can guess that? That's the problem. That's for 100 light years. So when they say there's 10 billion light years, no, it may be true. Nobody knows. They don't know either. And if it was 10 billion light years away, that doesn't prove it took 10 billion years for the light to get here. The Bible says God made the earth, and then he made the stars, and then he stretched them out. They could be 10 billion light years away and have been created yesterday. They don't get it. Okay.
Use standard candles.
So you're telling me you can tell how far away a star is by how bright it is. Are all the stars in the universe burning at the same brightness right now, regardless of
No, you use type 1A supernova.
There are many different varieties of stars out there burning at different temperatures, burning with different colors. So if you're trying to tell the distance to a star based on the color or based on the brightness, I think that's a real stretch. But even then, if the stars are billions of light years away, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying we can't measure that. If they are, it still doesn't prove the universe is billions of years old. They don't get it. Joseph, how else can I say it where they can maybe get it? Try singing. You don't want to hear me sing. Okay.
And it's the same as the inverse square law applies, and you know that it applies to light.
Okay, now just slow down now. You're telling me that you can tell how far away a star is by how bright it is. Is that your position?
Type 1A supernova. Yeah, that's a standard candle.
So you can tell by how the luminosity, the candle power of that star determines the distance. Wouldn't that be assuming that you already know what type star it is? How do you know what type star it is?
The type 1A supernova. And using the inverse square law, you seem to be all over Moon. Okay, but now you're going to deny it when it comes to starlight.
I'm not denying anything. I understand the inverse square law. It's got nothing to do. My question was, you are claiming that you can tell the distance to a star based on how bright it is. And you can tell what type of star it is.
Yes. The scientists know very well how to measure the distance of a star using the brightness, using the standard candle.
Okay, let's assume that we do know the distance to the star. Does that therefore tell us the age? How long it took the light to get here? Wouldn't that be assuming that the speed of light's always been consistent?
Well, if you want to mess with the speed of light, that E equals mc squared, right?
I understand. Yep.
So M equals E divided by C squared. You adjust C.
Einstein's theory, right? This formula, yep.
Right. Yeah. If you manipulate C, you change the value for mass as well. To get starlight from the edge of the visible universe to the Earth, you're going to have to increase the speed of light by 2.3 million, a factor of 2.3 million. You do that.
He's just making up all this big stuff, and most uneducated people just swallow it. Well, it's got to be true. Look at all these big words. Okay, don't buy it. Okay, I'm going to get to one more thing here. Okay,
you increase the mass as well, and you affect the mass. You're going to destroy the universe. It's a bad approach.
Well, yeah. So if we change the speed of the universe, I cover on video number 7 all kinds of. Okay. I think you have a bad approach. Correct. Einstein's formula, E equals mc squared. The energy is the mass times the speed of light squared. I think that was just an example. I don't think that's an exact number. You're saying the speed of light squared is exactly, that's just an example of how much energy and mass, how they're related to each other. He could have said E equals mc cubed.
Real math. You can go collect, you prove Einstein wrong and collect your Nobel Prize.
Prove Einstein wrong and collect a Nobel Prize. Hang on. I think you have to prove it's right. Let me give you an example here. Right here. Where's the mouse? Here we go. Okay. There we go. E, energy. M, mass. C is the speed of light. If you take the speed of light times the speed of light, or squared, okay? It doesn't really matter to me, but C, the speed of light, or 186,000 miles per second, times 186,000 is 34,596,000,000. 596 million what? You can use metric system or English system. Is something other system? Is miles per second a unit of energy? Come on now. Could it be that E equals mc to the 2.1 power or to the third power, mc cubed? Einstein was just picking a big number to show that this energy is enormous in a certain amount of mass. I don't think there's any way to test the exactness of that formula, nor do I care. It may be right, but you can't possibly prove that's right. Do you know that the energy contained in an object is exactly 396 million something or others? You don't know that. Speed of light. I see it was just a big number to cross, so that's all. Just a lot of folks in Hiroshima, they found it. I'm not saying he was wrong. I'm saying he was giving an example how much energy and mass, how they're related. The energy is equal to the mass times this huge number cubed. And still, we get the point across. You don't know that it's exactly mc speed of light squared, do you? Does anybody know that? How could you know that?
Well, then you, I guess, like I said, you do the math. Show us the real math. Show us the Hovind math and how it gives better predictions and give relativity.
Well, first of all, I will say mass out of wood and burn it and produce energy.
That's a chemical reaction.
Can you take the energy and produce mass? Show me any place where energy has been used to produce mass. Just
the Hadron Collider.
The Hadron Collider is taking energy and producing mass from it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I think I'd have to disagree. I'll look into that more. But
okay, look into it. Now, as far as this speeding the light up and down, that 1999 paper, it was talking about the group velocity, which is what's happening actually inside the wavelength, or the phase velocity, and that's light when it passes. Velocity C was not changed in that paper. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about increasing either the group or the phase velocity. So the front velocity, or C, no, that was not changed.
I would ask you to go to icr.org. They've got a couple of physicists on that staff there, ICR, Institute for Creation Research, and read the articles they've done on this topic. But I want to look at a little bigger picture here. All of your argument is only to try to rescue time. You need billions of years. Okay, I'll give you billions of years. How do you turn an amoeba into a whale over trillions or quadrillions of years? You're only trying to rescue time because you know how desperately you need time. Okay, for the moment, I'll say, I'll give you billions of years. Now, where's the evidence of evolution is what I want to talk about. Because all you're doing tonight is trying to say, well, we got time because it took time for the starlight to get here. I think I just showed plenty of papers where that's not necessarily the case, but it's a minor point compared to the bigger picture. Where's the evidence for evolution? That's the title of tonight's program. Evolution is a religion, and it's dangerous and dumb.
To Google Scholar, enter evolution into the search engine, and there are tens of thousands of papers.
Pluto, go to North Korea, enter evidence for communism. You will get tens of thousands of papers that say, oh, communism's wonderful, communism's good. Enter evidence against communism, and nothing will show up. From living authors, anyway. America, the West in general, is so bought into this stupid evolution religion that stuff that goes against it doesn't get published in peer-reviewed journals, does it? Used to, long time.
Now, evolution, how is it defined? Frequencies in populations.
Time is important. If I told you, let's see, if you kissed a frog, it would turn to a prince. You would say, that's a fairy tale. I agree. Frogs do not turn to princes. But if I told you if you wait billions of years, your frog will turn to a prince. See, the amoeba, billions of years ago, slowly turned to a frog and slowly became a prince. Now they call it science. So if the frog turns to the prince quickly, it's a fairy tale. But if it turns to the prince slowly, over time, that's modern science. This is the whole argument he's giving tonight about starlight, which they always do. They need billions of years to turn their frog to a prince. That's the problem. Anyway, then he gets into allele frequency. There's a bunch of stuff on that, but over time already, brother. Allele frequencies, what versions of a gene can exist at a specific location or locus on a chromosome, okay? Each individual inherits two for most genes, one from each parent, one from your mom, one from your dad. Understanding alleles. Copies of genes made up of hereditary chromosome passed down from each parent. What is an allele? Alleles are gene copy traits. They decide if you got blue eyes or blonde hair or whatever, okay? Alleles are copies of genes that influence hereditary characteristics. Each person inherits at least two of a particular gene, one from each parent. This is called allomorphs. A good example of how alleles are expressed is eye color. Whether we have blue or brown eyes depends on the alleles that are passed down from our parents. You can read about that for yourself. Okay, let's see, one more here. There. Allele, passed down from the parents. There. What is an allele? A variant of a gene controlling the same trait. So yes, there are variations in the alleles, and you might get, one from your mom, one from your dad, but you're not going to get an allele from the dog. Okay. So the allele frequency is not going to cause any evolution. And his whole argument was about time. I keep asking guys, where's the hard evidence for evolution? I want to see where any animal has produced an animal that's not the same kind. And well, it happened so slow you can't see it. Well, then it's not science. Okay. Okay. Questions or comments, brother? Let's see, from Deborah. His quote, I don't know, is the most honest thing. Amen. Nobody knows. That's why it's not science. Science is what we know. There's a lot of things we don't know, and they're not considered science. Evolution is not part of science. It's a religious belief. It might even be true later. Who knows? I don't think so. But even if it's proven true later, as of today, it's not science. Okay, go ahead. Yes, they just don't get it. God stretched out the heavens. 17 times it says God stretched out the heavens. He could have made it. How old was Adam when God made him? 0. How old did he look? 72, the perfect age. Okay, so go ahead. A farther star could be brighter than a closer star. That's dim. Something. chemical reactions that are going on that could affect the brightness. I agree. That's a real stretch to say you can tell how far away the star is based upon the brightness or color. I think that's just a real stretch. Firmament, Einstein is one of the gods of modern atheists. We're not supposed to question him. That's modern blasphemy. That's a good point. Love it. Question. The answer is yes. What's impossible is to have all the contents of the universe together and expect it to come apart. Good question. Who's going to squeeze that together? Gravity? The mass of the particles is strong enough to condense it all into a dot smaller than an atom. It's not science, guys. That's it. Thank you so much. Okay, tomorrow night and the next night, we'll have opportunity for call-in show. I'll start off by whacking somebody just for a few minutes, and then you can call in with where's the evidence for evolution? Would somebody please call in and show us? Yeah, please, bring it tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Call your professors. Come get on Hovind Show tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. He wants to see the evidence. You've been teaching us in school, there's a whole bunch. Everyone he's debunked. Yep, and I'll debunk them all. And we'll until I die. Joseph, after I die, keep my stuff going, would you? Okay. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.